I would like to get a Big Mac meal.
Jason Casper is the best guy ever. Big ups, Jason Casper!
We're pumping, and it's going to be huge. Right to the 6 Juanita, the biggest pump in the world, and everybody knows it. China knows it, and that little guy from North Korea, whatever his name is. Let's look at market Cipher B. Do we have any butt cheeks? Oh, yeah, we have billions and billions of butt cheeks. This is going to be huge. Make sure to like and subscribe to Jason Casper. He's the best YouTube trader in the world. He's getting huge. Shout out to the Casper crew.
All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Thursday morning. Blessings to everybody in the name of Jesus, Yeshua the Messiah. I do pray everybody watching and listening is super blessed as Bitcoin is ranging after breaking out, making a new all-time high. Ethereum still in the show. We got some altcoins pumping. Solana's pumping, baby. Chainlink is pumping. Ethereum is pumping. XRP is pumping. Oh my goodness, look at Ripple. It's sending ripples down my spine. Yeah, I called it Ripple. That's right, XRP Army. I don't care about your feelings, bruh. All right. Ripple's pumping, baby. Look at this. Just exactly as predicted. All these altcoins pumping, baby. And I think we have more to go. I'm excited. I'm stoked. I'm long. I'm strong. I'm happy. I'm sad. I've got myself a nice little Mexican mustache sombrero hat on here. And I will talk in my best Spanish Mexican accent. Yeah, man. This is how we talk in Mexico. In Mexico. Hola, mi amigo. ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien. Gracias. You might say, Jason, you sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger trying to pretend to be Mexican. And you might be right. But it doesn't matter. Because today, we have one thing and one thing only to talk about. And that's the charts. So make sure to smash up the likes. Alright. We got to give a shout out to everybody in the chat right here. Major shout out to Flippa Frank. Shout out to Smorley. Smorrill. Shout out to Guy Incognitable. Shout out to Flo Fuss. Shout out to Working Me. Shout out to Future Waller. Shout out to Luke Bitwalker. Shout out to Sam. Major shout out to Bitman Sam and King Ninja. What's going on? Shout out to the Gary C. He says, de nada. De nada, gracias. Shout out to Yowzer Dinkosaurus Rex. Shout out to Eddie. Do I hold XRP? No, I don't hold any XRP. But we've been watching the chart, and I like to watch charts. Alright? He says, you sound German. Hola, mi amigo. ¿Cómo estás? Yo tengo un perro en mis pantalones cortos. Sí. Shout out to DF Fizz L11. Long, strong, down to get the friction on. Shout out to Yesh Wanth, who says Jai Shri Ram. Shout out to JG, says take Moon off, you'll gain more respect. Bro, look, I got a movie coming out with Carl from the Moon. If you don't respect that, you can take yourself and go find another live stream to watch. You heard? Shout out to Investment Time. God bless you, my man. Shout out to Crypto Coon. Shout out to all the mods up in here. All right. You guys are doing amazing. Shout out to Dermish, who says Bitcoin short 100K. Pray for it. Shout out to OG Blockchain. Shout out to Quantum Logics. All right, man. All right. This is nuts. This is nuts. Well, we got half a dishwasher. Shout out to Crypto Tender. Shout out to Ahmad Raza. Yeah, we're going to be getting into some coins here. Shout out to Lion Room. Que pasa? The word defined. I almost sold after the failed Genius Bill Catalyst, but we still holding the long, baby. Yeah, XRP is pumping like crazy right now, guys. Let's check out Cardano. Cardano getting a pump too. Cardano breaking out right now of the wedge. All right. Cardano definitely breaking out of the wedge. Look at this, man. I mean, we are seeing some really nice things happening here. In my opinion, and we know that we're heading into an altcoin season because we have been looking at these charts. We've been looking at the Bitcoin chart. We've been looking at the altcoin season index. Look at this, man. All right, look at this. we take a look at the altcoin season index, and you can see that we are deep into the alt season. We can expect it to come all the way back up towards 75 and above. We're gonna see a lot of pumpage, man. People ain't ready. People ain't ready, all right, for it. Now, I'm still holding my Bitcoin longs, all right, from all the setups we gave in the Casper Crew VIP Discord. Setup given from $100,000. Setup given, long taken, profits locked, baby. From 105, gave the long setup, told people when I took it, profits locked, baby. Yesterday, long setup, told everyone when I took it, actually this was 2 days ago, profits locked, baby. All right, in the Casper Crew VIP Discord. We are in here calling the levels, calling the moves, trading, all right? And the Casper Crew, shout out to the Casper Crew VIP Discord, jasoncaspertrading.com, where myself and 5 other instructors are every single day walking you through the live price action, giving you updates. Yesterday, man, we even took a short on Bitcoin, told everyone I've taken a short on Bitcoin. All right, walking through the live price action. We're walking through our take profits. We're doing our live streams. We're looking for the trades, baby. Man, check it out at jasongaspertrading.com. Also, got to give a major shout out to the sponsors of the channel. First of all, got to give a major shout out to WEEX. 0% limit order fees, 0.01% market order fees. Great deal. Got to give a major shout out to BLOFIN. 0% limit order, 0.04% market order, chance to win all these prizes, 20% cash back. Got to give a major shout out to ANTARCTIC, decentralized exchange, very low fees, and of course, Klein funding. Guys, if you know how to trade, but you have no money, I currently am partnered with Klein funding, a crypto prop firm that runs on Bitget. 15 and 25% discounts on these accounts. You don't even have to pass a challenge to get an instantly funded account. 15% discount for about $1,000. You can have a $50,000 account. It's pretty wild. Customized plans in here. It's pretty dope. Check it out. Link in the description. Also, guys, I'm also currently trading on KCEX because of the very low fees. Links in the description. KCEX. All right. Now remember, all exchanges, you can't trust them except for ANTARCTIC, because ANTARCTIC, it's a decentralized exchange. You're not putting your money on there. But if you're trading on a centralized exchange, there's no such thing as a safe exchange. All right? Just a public service announcement. If you're putting your money on an exchange, you better be prepared to lose it all. I never keep more money on a single exchange than enough to enter into 1 or 2 trades at the most. All right? 1 or 2 trades at the most. And I diversify across multiple centralized exchanges. You can't even trust, even if it's in Forbes magazine. An American-owned company, you can't trust it. Look at FTX, all right? Unless you're keeping your crypto in your own cold wallet, trading on a decentralized exchange like ANTARCTIC. All right? These centralized exchanges are great. They give you good deals. They give you good fees. They give you good bonuses. But just keep enough money in there to enter 1 or 2 trades at a time. And withdraw your profits, man. All right? Public service announcement. All right? Because some people... you know, when exchanges get hacked or whatever. All right, let's take a look at the Bitcoin price first, then we're going to jump into these juicy altcoins. But as we know, the Bitcoin price has broken out, made a new all-time high. Remember to smash up the likes, because if we get 1,000 likes in the first half hour, we're going to give away $1,000. Shout out to DGen Air. Everyone's talking about all season now. Last week they were saying it wasn't going to happen. That's not what I was saying, all right? I'll be honest, and if you'll be honest, you know that I have been looking for the alt season for a long time, and we've been building a narrative and looking for certain things, and all the things we've been looking for, we've seen, all right? So I know that certain people that I've seen on Twitter say no alt season this year, and a lot of people saying it's not going to be like it was last time. But I've been saying it's preposterous to me that ETH is not going to hit a new all-time. I've been saying this the whole time, all right? I've been saying that ETH is an amazing buy when we dip down to 1,500, probably like an amazing opportunity. All right, I've been talking about it, and I could still be wrong. That's the thing. But I'm sticking to my convictions here because of the things I'm seeing on the chart. So let's start with the Bitcoin chart, because that's the foundation of everything. The Bitcoin chart is the foundation of everything when it comes to altcoin season. What are we seeing? Well, we know that we have been trading in the bull market. We know that we came down to key support. And as we came down to key support, we saw a very bullish signal. The mirror mode uneven butt cheek pattern, also known as the hidden bullish divergence. You have a very skinny right butt cheek followed by a very juicy left butt cheek. Why do the butt cheeks form this pattern? Well, it has to do with a tight left hip flexor. When you're doing squats and deadlifts, you can't get the full stretch of the glute, which causes a muscular imbalance. And as we know, imbalances means you need to make a correction. And here we go. We have a correction to the upside. This is a very powerful signal right here, bullish divergence on the weekly time frame. And as we looked at the lower time frames, we saw not only did we have a hidden bullish divergence on the weekly, but right here we have a regular uneven butt cheek pattern with a juicy on the left, skinny on the right, regular bullish divergence right from the low. Put the cheeks on. Wow, look at that. Resemblance is absolutely striking. And from that point on, we were expecting new all-time highs, especially upon the reclaim of $85,000, which is why, at least on my channel, if you go back to the last video I made on technical analysis in April, I was calling for new all-time highs on the reclaim of $85,000, which is why also I put my money where my mouth is, taking the dang long trade from $85,000 on the reclaim, because, you know, that's what I do, man. That's what I do. We talk about it, we trade it. We talk about it, we trade it. We talk about it, we trade it, you know? We trade it. We talk about it and we trade it. You know what I'm saying? We don't just talk about it here. We talk about it and we trade it. You know what I'm saying? We don't just we talk about it and we trade it. You know, it's like that. You know, we talk and we trade. You know what I'm saying? So we are getting a big old pumperoni now. We're making a new all-time high on the weekly time frame. You know what I'm saying? We have a strong breakout candle. This is a nice looking candle because the pattern here is every single time we break out of the previous range high, we have a convincing green candle, which is the reason why I wasn't so convinced of the all-time high that we made back in May. I wasn't very convinced because the weekly candle wasn't giving me a big follow-through, big old fat close, undeniable breakout. Like we had back here in November when we broke out of the range. Like we had back here in October 2023 when we broke out of the range, right? Every single time we break out of the range, big weekly candles. And when we get the big weekly candles, it really means up only for the next few weeks. All right? I know people hate it when you come out bullish, especially when you're a crypto YouTuber. You know, you come out bullish as a crypto YouTuber, they say, hey, you're just trying to scam your people to be exit liquidity. Look, this ain't no financial advice. I ain't no financial advisor, okay? But all I'm saying is, for the past 2 years, every time we see this signal print, it means up only for the next few weeks, all right? I'm not telling anybody to long, all right? I'm not telling anybody to do anything. I'm not long here. I took my longs weeks ago, and I gave the setups in advance and told people when I was taking them. I'm not taking a new long here, all right? I took a short here. I took a short here. I mean, look at it. Yesterday in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, man, we took a dang short. Did you look at that? We took a dang short trade up in here. And I told everyone too, I've taken the short, you know? So look, just because I'm bullish doesn't mean you should long. And just because I'm long doesn't mean you should be bullish. But we're here to analyze the chart and come to our own dang conclusions. Now look, the week is about half over. We got about 3 days left on this weekly candle here. And so far, this looks pretty good. I mean, this looks like a big, strong breakout with volume. We're consolidating. The weekly has more upside, in my opinion. We come down to the 4-day. More upside, in my opinion. We come to the 2-day. Looks like a top could be forming here. Now, this is where we get to the 1 day. Because this is very important. Because as we know, a few days ago, we confirmed a signal on Market Cipher B, which does usually mean sideways and down for the rest of the week. What do you know? We're still sideways and down right now. Like, we're sideways and kind of bearish after confirming this red dot. The red dot, he is, speaking of me trying to sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger, pretending to be a Mexican, we do have the red dot printing on the chart. Who is a real Mexican gangster? His name is El Punto Rojo. The red dot. He comes, he tries to smuggle the candles across the borders of support and resistance. And you can see that we have the red dot printing here on the daily time frame. Is this a bearish signal as we're seeing the Bitcoin price reject? I mean, honestly, I don't have time to pull it now, but the price we're rejecting from is the 1.618 Fibonacci extension. Well, then we come down to our 4-hour time frame. Okay, now I want to show you something. Yes, we got El Punto Rojo on the daily, but over here on the 4-hour, we see the arch nemesis of El Punto Rojo, El Punto Verde. El Punto Verde, the arch nemesis, he's trying to prevent El Punto Rojo from bringing the bearish candles from the Canadian border down to the US border. Because when price action, it can all be compared to Canada and the United States. Or in fact, as an American, the only countries that exist in North America are Canada and the United States. And even though we're dealing with Mexican gangsters, as an American, we don't consider Mexico part of North America. No offense to my Mexicans, you guys are in South America, man. You guys are in way down South America. Alright? Now, you gotta forgive me, I'm a baby boomer, alright? This is just the worldview that I have. Okay? Now, this 4-hour right here, when we look at what's happening, this is called a hidden bullish divergence. Alright, hidden bullish divergence. As the price is making higher lows, we are seeing the momentum making lower lows. Once again, that is our mirror mode, uneven butt cheek pattern, hidden bullish divergence, continuation pattern. We can also see the money flow looking pretty good here, and we can also even see that we're trying to push up. In fact, yesterday, when we took that short trade in Casper Crew, you can see that we're forming bearish divergences on the lower time frames over here, right? You can clearly see we're forming the dreaded upside down Sam Bankman-Fried bearish man boob pattern on some of these time frames. As the price continues to make higher highs, Sam Bankman-Fried coming out with his man boobs upside down, making lower highs with the money flow getting lower and the red pepperoni nipples getting lower. We can clearly see that here. However, we haven't seen much follow through from it. We haven't really seen much follow through at all from this upside down Sam Bankman-Fried bearish man boob pattern, right? So this is very interesting. The reason why I say this is very interesting is because if we hold here and we start to see this money flow curving back into the blue, honestly, it looks like these hidden bullish divergences on our 4-hour, on our 6-hour, even on our 1-hour, guys. I mean, look at this on the 1-hour, hidden bullish divergences, 1-hour money flow dipping into the purple. A lot of times we see this purple money flow acting as support. So there's still, in my opinion, a reason to be locally bullish here, even though the red dot means sideways and down for the rest of the week. But here's one thing I would say, one word of caution. Although things look bullish on the high time frames, we do need to be prepared for a drop to the downside to get into another long. Now here's my actual bias. My actual bias is bullish on the high time frames. But as we dip into the lower time frames, I acknowledge that there's room for a dip before the next pump. And this consolidation on Bitcoin that we're seeing right now, in my opinion, which is not going to result in a massive drop, but could result in a dip, is what's fueling us right now for these altcoins pump. In fact, it's a bullish sign to see altcoins pumping after Bitcoin making this new all-time high. So what could we expect for Bitcoin if we don't hold here and if we do drop here? And I still am holding a portion of that short trade from the short setup that I gave in the Casper Crew. I'm 75% out, but I've left a portion of the trade in with a pretty kind of loose stop loss just in case of massive dump here. All right. But what are some places we could look for? Well, it is very simple. It really is very simple. Right now, on the Bitcoin chart, this is the 1-hour time frame. We're going to go to the daily time frame. It doesn't really matter actually what time frame we go on. But actually, yeah, let's stick to the 1-hour time frame. Right now, I would say this: there's a box of support which must hold, and if it holds, then I believe, yeah, this could be the next major bullish long setup that we have for the rest of the bull run here, and that's going to be this. That's going to be like 109 to 112. This right here, if we take a look. If we take a look at this and we consider that this is a head and shoulders change of market structure, lower high, we get our drop, we take our measured move from the neckline, the low to the high, we pull that thing down, and what do you know? All right, this is what we do need to be aware of. A liquidity grab of the lows. coming down to backtest the support resistance split value area high of the range. And then we can look for our next target on Bitcoin at around $130,000. All right, this is a 6-to-1 risk-reward ratio long setup that I am prepared for, that I'm hoping for, because it's a really good, objectively good trade as we head into, in my opinion, what's going to be a bullish fall. Okay, so this is what we need to be open to. Obviously, there's other levels we could bounce from. If you're in the Casper crew, I'm walking you through them, and if I decide to take a long before we come down here, you know, I'll update the community as I've been doing in the Casper crew, myself and the other instructors at jasontraham.com. This is really what we do need to be aware of. Basically, guys, as long as we're not losing the support resistance flip, we're still maintaining the pattern of a strong bullish breakout. All right, now here's the one thing that would be strange if we do come all the way back down for a retest of 109 to 112. We've never seen that happen before. The big bullish break has never resulted in a backtest, but it is something that we do need to be prepared for. Okay, and look, there is a chance that we've already bottomed out. $116,000. All right, you know, in the Casper crew, we did catch the exact bottom there. All right, we did catch the exact bottom in the Casper crew. That is a chance that we bottomed out. I mean, look at that entry, guys. Like, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet here, but this is a juicy entry, long from the exact bottom. All right, I told everybody when I took the long and talked about it in advance that morning. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. All right, a lot of people come on here, you know, they talk about the charts, hindsight analysis. Casper crew, we're not hindsight analysis. All right, we talk about it, what could happen, then we take the action. All right, take the dang action, baby. Take the dang action. Long from $105,000. Man, would you look at that entry as well, guys? All right. Talk about it, do it, bam, all right? Okay, so that's the deal with Bitcoin. As long as we're holding above, I'm telling you, it's looking dang juice. It's looking juice, man. It's looking juice. Now, let's take a look at Ethereum because, man, we've been talking about ETH for a long time. Here we go, guys. ETH, oh man, would you look at the 2-day candle? Would you look at the daily candle? Okay, we've done it. We've done it. What have we been saying about ETH for a long time? Since May. If we reclaim the $2,700 value area low, we're going to a new all-time high. And I was calling for $3,300 ETH as soon as we got this candle close above $2,700, and we smashed it. Why? Why was I calling for that? It's very simple. This is the fair value zone for Ethereum. Once the price, having lost the fair value zone, comes back inside, gets the back test, that means the probabilities are highest that we come up to that $4,000 level. But before we do, halfway point, $3,300. All right. Now, by the way, guys, if you want, if this sounds like gibberish, you're talking, what the heck is the value area low? What the heck is all this? What, Jason? What are you talking about, man? You sound like a crazy person. Well, I'll tell you what. Check out the free course on YouTube. 100% free. Free 99, 18 sessions on how to trade. All right, check it out for free. Also, look, the thing that's happening with ETH is the thing that happened with Bitcoin back in the day. When we were saying, all right, look, we reclaimed the fair value zone of the range. Chances are highest that we make our way to the top of the fair value zone and eventually make a new all-time high. All right, we're talking about this publicly in April. All right, April 21st, 2025. All right. And so right now we're seeing this exact thing happen with Ethereum. We come on over to the chart. You can see we've reclaimed the fair value zone. We've reclaimed the POC. Next target, 4,000. Once we're at $4,000, guys, we are breaking out of this massive trend line. Okay, this trend line, it's a trend line. Trend, like trend balloon. All right, because it's going to give you a massive pump. All right, it's going to give you a trend cough. All right, it's going to make you crazy. Why is it going to make you crazy? Because you thought ETH was dead. You thought ETH was dead. You thought ETH was dead. All right, it's going to drive you crazy, man. It's going to drive you nuts. All right, this is the stuff that they give to cows to try and make them gain weight, right? Or something like that. I don't know. I ain't no doctor. But once we break 4,000, we're going to a new all-time high. And if we take our Fibonacci trend-based extension tool from the low to the high to the low, you can see that our next major targets here are going to be the 1-to-1 Fibonacci extension at 5,500. We have the 1.272 at 6.8K, but then really the 1.618, that's at 8,500. And then we have our 2-to-1 Fibonacci extension at around 10K. And that's how I'm getting these targets here based on Fibonacci trend-based extensions. And even if we just take the measured move of this, right, of this triangle, the measured move on the breakout is going to take us to 8,500. Now, people laughed. They scoff. Even now, they're spitting in my face. Look at my face. Looks wet. It's because of everyone spitting in it. Because they're laughing so hard in my face. 8,500 ETH. Are you crazy? Are you stupid? Look, here's the deal. What do we see right now? We see Bitcoin breaking out, making a new all-time high. The 4-year cycle still intact. Everything looks bullish. We're seeing the altcoin season index pushing us into an altcoin season in the last few months of a bull market. All right. Now, when we look at ETH, what do we see? Monthly time frame. We see confirmed signal, bullish green dot below the 0 line on market Cipher B. We have never in the history of ETH printed an oversold momentum wave on the monthly. Never. Well, Bitcoin was at bull market prices. Never. Look at the weekly time frame. Look at the money flow crossing on the weekly. All right. Money flow crossing on the weekly. Look at the 4-day. Look at the 4-day. Look at this. All right. We are seeing bullish divergences at the low on the 4-day, as we're seeing extremely bullish monthly signals and weekly money flow cross. All right. Now you might say, Jason, the money flow hasn't quite crossed yet. You're right. It hasn't quite crossed yet. But when we zoom in and we see like our 2-day momentum's getting higher, invalidating bearish divergences, let's just talk about like the money flow cross on ETH, okay? And look, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I've got a lot of money invested in ETH. I don't think I'm wrong here. This is my plan on ETH. The money flow cross on the weekly, all right? When we just look at how powerful these things are, they are very rare. They're very rare. We've only had 2, okay? We've only had 2. Look what happens when we get the money flow cross on the weekly. Whoop. Whoop. All right, now we got another one. What do you think is going to happen? Now, this one happened in a bear market. This one happened in a bear market. That's what I'm saying. We're seeing these bullish signals happen in a bull market. All right. And what's funny is people are losing faith in the number 2 market cap crypto in the world. People are like, nah, ETH is not good anymore. It was good, now it's not. Now it's not. Okay, whatever, man. This is an extremely bullish chart, in my opinion, in a bullish market environment. And I think we could easily see new all-time highs. Let's check out Sol. All right, Sol. This is the idea that we have here on Sol. And we are seeing, in my opinion, also Sol, bullish trigger wave confirmed on the weekly. 2-week time frame. Look at this, guys. Anchor wave, trigger wave, money flow getting thicker. Sol, to me, looks like it is primed for a big pump. All right. These high time frame market Cipher Bs look bullish on Solana. Look at this, guys. We are very close to printing a green dot on the monthly on Solana. That's going to be nuts. All right. Let's check out our 2-day time frame on Sol. Money flow crossing from purple into blue on Solana. The last time we saw that, guys, guess what? Was right here. Oh man, what do you know? All right. Oh, I'm sorry. The time before that was also right here. Okay. What do you notice about every time the money flow crosses on the 2-day on Sol? Like, what do you notice? Any patterns? Any patterns here? Big old pumperoni. It's looking pretty nice. It is looking nice. Bullish divergence. Like, let's just look at this local structure here too. Bullish divergence at the low. Uneven butt cheek pattern at the low. Juicy on the left, skinny on the right. The right side full of gravy. Left side full of gravy. Right side, not so much. All right. We've got our uneven butt cheek pattern here. Then we make a higher high and we make a higher low into the Fibonacci 618 retracement. Then we print a continuation trigger wave on market Cipher B and we see a money flow cross. All things point to us making a higher high right here, which means not only are we forming bullish market structure locally, but it's also showing us that, yeah, we did a liquidity grab of the range low, and now we're going to make our way back to the range high. The probabilities are highest right now, in my opinion, that we're going to see Solana come back up to the range high. All right, I know people hate being bullish now, and it's so funny. Actually, it is a little bit ironic. You have to say, everybody was bullish for crypto forever. And then after 2 market cycles of everybody getting wrecked buying the top, it's now not cool to be bullish anymore. It's more cool to say, come on, man, it's bearish. It's bearish, all right? It's more cool to be bearish in general now because so many people lost money in crypto, right? Because of the up-only narrative. But sometimes there is a reason to have an up-only narrative. And if there was ever a time to have an up-only narrative, it's right now when Bitcoin is doing exactly what we were hoping it would do, continuing the uptrend, starting to range. Altcoin season index is showing us we're about to see money moving into altcoins, and we're in the last few months of the 4-year halving cycle, which historically will give us our all-time high for Bitcoin around the fall, which means we're going to really see altcoins within the next few months pump up to some crazy levels. If it's just the pattern that plays out, right? Within the next few months, even into the winter, because we will see some altcoins rally after Bitcoin starts to dump. But really, these top 20 coins are going to rally alongside Bitcoin. Bitcoin will pump and then they'll follow, like what's happening right now. All right, Chainlink, look at this, man. Look at this. We got some blue candles here on our 2-day. You know, once again, I think the other cool thing about all these is, you know, we're seeing these risk to reward ratios just be so good. Like if Chainlink even just goes to its old all-time high, we're literally at 5-to-1 risk reward from where we're at right now. Like we're coming down to support. Like we're literally at support in a bull market on all these altcoins, right? Bear market range, but then literally support. January 2021 support, September 2024 support. We came back down again to retest this support. All right. The upside potential is more than the downside potential here. Even if we just come up to $37, the upside potential is more than the downside potential. Then we look at market Cipher B, and what do we see? We see extreme bullish divergence at the lows. We see a continuation trigger wave, and then we're seeing anchor trigger right here. All right. Looks pretty dang juicy. Now XRP right now is stealing the show because XRP has broken out of the falling wedge and is back up to the range high. All right. XRP back up to the range high. Man, this thing is starting to fly. Now, look at XRP. It looks so beautiful here. You know, now this is some hindsight analysis because it has to be now, but we had our hidden bullish divergence. We were telling you about it. Then we were telling you that we're bouncing from the Fibonacci golden pocket and that this is our retest. This is a good chance to get in. And look, now we printed another hidden bullish divergence on the weekly. And that has given us the fuel now to officially make a higher high locally, and we're back up to the top of the range. We've broken out of the diagonal downward sloping resistance, and just objectively looking at this, this is a bull flag, right? Sometimes bull flags play out, guys. Honestly. Sometimes bull flags play out. They just play. They just play, man. All right, so they just play. Our technical move, based on our measured move, is going to be a $5 XRP, but the next target obviously is our $4 psychological, and it looks really good. Let's go to the monthly. Okay, monthly green dot on XRP, money flow getting thick. This looks really bullish, man. I don't hold XRP, so please bear that in mind. Of all the coins that I've just done analysis on, I hold them all except for XRP. I do not hold XRP. All right, but I'm bullish on it, and I think it has good pump potential here. I think right now our next move is going to be another 22% up to $4, and then eventually we'll see that 67% move up to $5. That's going to be pretty good, and $5 is going to be a very important level psychologically and technically right here. But man, oh man, looking pretty dang good. right, let's check out Cardano as well. Look at this, guys. This is my plan for Cardano. I've gone over it many times here. I don't think it's too late even to get in on Cardano. I think of all the coins right now, AVAX and Cardano are probably the two best top 20 risk to rewards. But right now, assuming Cardano makes it to all-time highs, it's a 7-to-1 risk reward. Assuming a $5 Cardano, it's a 13-to-1 risk reward, meaning you're risking 1 to make 13. We're currently breaking out of the wedge, which is also the handle of a cup and handle, which is also just a very bullish structure. This whole thing here is a bullish structure. Bullish divergences at the low, change of market structure, back test of support and resistance flip with continued divergence, another higher high. Then we come back down here, we make another hidden bullish divergence on the weekly, double drive of hidden bullish divergence on the weekly. We literally have 4 weekly bullish divergences, hidden and not hidden, in this consolidation phase, as we're forming a bullish pattern on an asset that many people are sleeping on, just like Ethereum, saying it ain't got no future. But guys, this is Cardano, man. This is Cardano. All right. I hold a lot of Cardano. This is my plan on Cardano. All right. This is my actual real plan on Cardano. All right. All right. See, look, C Marpy says Cardano all-time high. What are you smoking? Where's my pipe? I lost my pipe. I can't believe I lost my... Oh, no, I have my pipe. I'll tell you what I'm smoking, guys. I'll tell you what I'm smoking. I am smoking Depends adult diapers. Okay? Actually, I am affiliated. Link in the description. You get 10% cash back on your Depends. Alright? What I like to do... And I wear these so I don't have to get up and pee when I'm watching the chart. Because the moment I pee, I miss my trade. But I take a little piece of the Depends, right? Take a little piece, and I put in my pipe, all right? Got to pack it nice and good in there, all right? Then you've got to light it up. It's harsh. It's harsh because the reality is when you're bullish and you buy the top and then price starts to dump, it's really harsh. It's like a smack in the face. But here's the thing, sometimes in life you gotta do harsh things in order to make those juicy gains. Alright? And I'll tell you what, smoking a pipe they say ain't that good for you. But look, I'd say there's some benefits to smoking pipe. First of all, you look smart. Alright? Second of all, every smart man ever in history smoked a pipe in their study. Until recently. Okay? Thirdly, look. Andrew Huberman says nicotine's good for you. So if Andrew Huberman says it, it must be true. After all, he's a scientist on YouTube. So maybe there is some good stuff about searching for a new all-time high on Cardano. Maybe we are going to hit our new all-time highs. Maybe all these bullish signs on the chart are actually going to play out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we are going to see it happen. Maybe we're going to get away with it this time. Like the time I was trading and driving. And the cops were chasing me. I got away with it, you know? I floored it. I ran. I was smoking my Depends. The cops were trying to pull me over. They thought I was smoking marijuana. It was just Depends. You know what I'm saying? Could we take a look at gold? I mean, I'm a crypto channel, but yeah, we'll take a look at gold. I mean, look, the last setup I gave on gold was the back test of 2,500. All right, this support resistance flip right here. That was a key psychological level. And this back test here, I'm like, this is the time. Boom. Now here we are at $3,300 gold, and we're forming another consolidation. Let's take a look at our monthly. We are starting to see some weekly bear divs here. Some slight monthly bear div here. Man. I'm a perma bull on gold, and I'll be honest, I don't have a handle on the gold market the way I do with with crypto, but this was just such an obvious psychological level that it's, you know, 2,500. We got our back test of 3,000 too, so, you know, 3,000 psychological level. Let's check out our daily. I'm trying to look to see like what we got here. So all right, so we do actually have some hidden bullish divergences forming here, guys. So if you take a look at this uptrend here, right, it's just like the Bitcoin uptrend. Let's put it on logarithmic. All right, it's not an exact trend line here, so maybe we could expect a little bit lower, to be honest. Let's connect these dots here. I mean, this is our gold big pump area, right? We are seeing some hidden bullish divergences here for like another leg up. Maybe if we do get another back test of 3,000 and we're seeing deep momentum here, that would actually be like, if momentum is deeper as we're coming back down to back test 3,000, that could give us another leg to the upside here. That would be a continuation pattern. But overall, I'm a perma bull on gold, and honestly, look, I think gold is the gateway drug to crypto. And I'm a firm believer in holding physical precious metals in a treasure chest hidden somewhere deep in the woods that only you know where it is, okay? Because gold historically has preserved its purchasing power no matter what. And, you know, if you're bought into the Ponzi, which we call the United States dollar, you know, it's just so crazy because, you look at what has happened here. Like when in 1971, when Nixon took the United States, I say us, off the gold standard, right? When the dollar's no longer linked to gold, when the value of the dollar is no longer linked to something that intrinsically holds purchasing power, guess what? The price of gold on paper against the dollar goes up. But in reality, this is the value of the dollar going down, right? This is the value of the dollar going down since 1971. And what's even more crazy about that is if we go back to the Great Depression in 1929, after the Federal Reserve is created back here in 1913, all right, Federal Reserve created here, where now they can just print fake money, right? Then we have the Great Depression because they're printing fake money and now people are going into debt. Now look, all of a sudden, what happens to the value of the dollar? It goes down quite significantly after the Great Depression, but it's still based on gold to a certain degree until 1971, and then boom, right? So gold, in my opinion, is an asset that you should hold. And same with Bitcoin. You know, I've been into gold heavily since I got married in 2014. That was one of the first things me and my wife really decided that we were going to heavily invest in, right? Because of this reason. We're like, why are we going to work so hard for this fiat currency so we could give our kids what? Something worthless? And since I got married, the value of the asset has gone up 178%. Now, people scoff at that because they're like, oh, 178%. But we're in crypto. Crypto is a game changer. But you want old, reliable, you know, one thing's for sure. The Federal Reserve, the only thing they can do to keep the dollar from hyperinflating and or collapsing is, well, actually, eventually it is going to cause hyperinflation or a collapse. But the only trick they can do is print more money. Raise the debt ceiling, print more money. Right? So as long as the dollar's a thing, if you're trying to work for dollars, you should be putting some of those dollars into gold. All right? You should be keeping dollars in order to invest in things, in real things. Like, the only reason to hold a dollar, in my opinion, is to buy tangible, physical assets and or services that you need now. And everything else should be saved in assets that are not going to depreciate in their intrinsic value over time. Like gold and silver and land. I mean, land is true wealth, man. Land is true wealth, right? Because when you think about it, why do you even have a job to work in the first place? It's so that you can have a house, right? A place to live. And what else do you work your job for, so you can have money to buy food, the stuff you need to live. Now, when you have land, guess what you can do on that land? You can produce food. You can produce food. You know what I'm saying? Like, this plate of food you see right here, 100% grown on my land, except those beef patties. But I do raise chickens. So replace those beef patties with like 3-4 eggs. All right? And you got a meal that you produced on your land. That's true wealth, man. When you have an asset that gives you food and shelter, that is true wealth, all right? And then gold and silver is the historical preservation of that purchasing power to get you stuff like land, all right? Man, this year the summer squashes are doing great. I love these things. I eat like 6, 7, 8 of these a day, man. I'm not even joking. We got some crazy stuff growing. The garlic's coming in. What else we got on here? Yes, the garlics, the red beets, the squashes, the potatoes. Man, the potatoes. Honestly, I could live on eggs, potatoes, and squash. We got the red beets coming on in. Now, this is pretty much how I eat every single day. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is like my main diet. Squash, potatoes, vegetables, and I do also eat a lot of fruit and dairy, which obviously I don't produce dairy on my property yet, but we're working towards it. It's a big investment time-wise, if you know what I'm saying. It's a big investment time-wise. All right, Bitcoin getting a little bit of a tumble here. New York's gonna open in about an hour. It's pre-market right now, all right? So again, I'm still holding a portion of that short trade that we gave in the Discord yesterday. All right, we gave it in the Discord yesterday. I've taken the short based on the CDW with divergence. I got in around 19,351. I took 75% of the trade out, but I'm still holding a portion of the trade because I recognize, you know, we could see a little bit of some dumpage here, you know? We could see a little bit of some dumpage here. So I still got about $150,000 in the short here. It was a pretty big short, let's be honest. But we'll see what happens. We're starting to get a little bit of a bounce. Let's zoom in here. Let's zoom in here and take a look locally at what's happening, because we are getting a little bit of a bounce. All right, a little bit of a bounce. 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 We're gonna do some low time frame analysis here, guys. Let's clear off everything. Okay, so what we have just done here is we have taken the liquidity from these lows. All right, and we're trying to do a swing failure pattern, but honestly, it looks like we could come lower. Looks like we could come a little bit lower. Let's just look at the volume of the range in general here. Okay, so yeah, if we're gonna lose this green line at 117.7, then the most probable place we come down to then is going to be the value area low at 116.7. This would be our next target. And of course, if we lose this, then we could see that big drop down to our $108,000 to $112,000 support. All right. So this is going to be a pretty key thing to see what happens here. It's going to be a pretty key thing to see what happens here. All right. I've still got a portion of that short trade open over here. Over on KCEX. And guys, here's the thing about KCEX. All right. It's called KCEX. It has very low fees, okay? It has very low fees. KCEX has very low fees, 0.01 market order, 0% limit order, 0% spot fees. That's why I'm currently trading on KCEX, link in the description, all right? That's why I'm trading on KCEX. Also, guys, WEEX with their low fees, BLOFIN with their deals, ANTARCTIC, decentralized. All right, make sure to check it out. Check out the Casper Crew VIP Discord, jasonstratham.com, where not only do we talk about the trades, but we take the trades and we lock the profits. We talk about it, we take it, and we lock it. We talk about it, we take it, and we lock it. All right? We talk about it, we take it, we lock it, baby. You know? All right. So check out jasonstratham.com. Also, guys, if you know how to trade but you have no money, check out Klein Funding, prop firm that runs on Bybit. 25% and 15% discounts. You can get an instant pro funded account. You don't have to pass a challenge to get funded. There's a 15% discount. All right. You can customize your plan here. So, you know, let's say you want to trade with a $200,000 account. You want a 70% profit split, 80% profit split, max drawdown, customizable. That will obviously make the price more expensive the more profit you take, but there's a 25% discount on this, right? So you got yourself a 40% profit split here, max drawdown 10%. I mean, you're talking about like less than 600 bucks in order to get a $200,000 account with the discounts in the description. That's actually pretty good. It's a good opportunity, and it runs on Bybit. So they're partnered with Bybit. All right, Bybit doesn't just do that lightly. All right, Bybit does not just do that lightly. All right, so yeah, Bitcoin starting to get that move to the down yonder, and let's see how it's going to be. We're going to check out the order flow here. All right, we're going to check out the order flow. We got to give a major shout out to Lost Liberty. Can we get a Telcoin update, bro? Yes. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. All right. All right. Telcoin update? For sure. Let's set an alert if Bitcoin starts to make higher highs here. And let's set an alert if Bitcoin dips down to the golden pocket here. And then we'll take a look at Telcoin, all right? Make sure to smash up the likes. Haven't looked at Telcoin in a while. We'll start on our weekly time frame. So one thing we can say, we don't have a lot of data here, but I'd say that this looks good. I can't say if we have bullish divergence. It looks like we should. Let's check out our daily. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful bullish divergence, change of structure. It looks really nice. We're even breaking out of this. You know, this was our resistance here for quite some time, give or take. We can pull this trend line back farther like that. So we're breaking out. That's a really strong sign. We're about to get a money flow cross on the daily. Looks like we need one more pullback here on the daily, at least consolidation. All right, so let's see here. Do we have news coming out right now? Yeah, I would say this, like, yeah, a back test of the golden pocket would be best. Like, the best entry on Telcoin would be this. Support resistance flip, right? Back test of the trend line. That would be perfect. That would be great. We've already gotten a back test of our value area high. So if I was looking for a new setup, definitely to come down to around 50.63. But it looks bullish. But here's the thing. Unless we come down a little bit, I don't really have a good entry here. But it does look bullish. All right, it does look bullish. Let's see here. Can we focus on Ethereum? Well, we already spent a lot of time, RV, focused on Ethereum. Look. I don't know what else to say about ETH. I spent a long time talking about ETH, man. It's very bullish, but we could go into the lower time frame and see, like, what's up. All right, you want to go down to the lower time frames and see what's up? Go down to see what's up. You have to go down to see what's up. You must go down to see what's up. We even got a local backtest here of the POC. So this is ETH right here. We've broken out of the local range. All right, let's go ahead and pull the bull flag volume. Okay, let's go ahead and pull our Fibonacci, low to high. Okay, so I mean, right now there's a few setups I would see here on ETH. Obviously, the most obvious, if we get a pullback to 2,700, that's going to be the most obvious. All right, that would be like a glorified long time to play out, breakout, back test, and pump, right? So 2,700 is definitely a buy now, right? It's resistance slipping to support. Then you always have to be aware of things like this, right? We've got this more local range right here. Okay, so we've got this. Then we pull our fib from this range low to the high. And what do you know? We have the golden pocket, the weekly VWAP, and the value area high of the range coming in between 3,000 and 3,100. So a move down to here also would be a nice place to hop into a local long if you see bullish signs, right? It's not something you can do unless you see bullish signs, but those would be two areas I'd be interested in. You know, right now we're in a powerful uptrend, so this fib pull here, lining up perfect. That's pretty nice. Of course, that is going to have to give us a 8% drop. So we'd have to see, you know, this is an idea that would happen if Bitcoin gets a drop back down to 109 to 112. We would expect ETH to be coming down maybe to $3,000 or maybe 2,700. You know, one thing for sure is that we have very sloppy market structure here. So you could easily see how we could have a long squeeze. Because this right here is just pure stop losses. Everyone who leveraged long here, trail their stop loss, you know, there's a lot of stop losses to be wrecked here. And then obviously once we wreck all those stop losses, we've got more stop losses right down here, and then we come right into our support. So those would be two areas for ETH, but in general, like if we're not looking at the low time frame, we're looking at the high time frame stuff, I'm expecting to move up to $4,000 based on the fact that we've come inside the $2,700 value area low, all right? Which is why, you know, zooming out here, why I'd be so interested in a long from 2,700, because we're basically getting a breakout, a back test, and then we look to pump. The probabilities right now are highest that we come up to at least 4,000. And once we come to 4,000, we're breaking out of this trend line that we've been trading under since 2021, October. And that would lead me to think that we would see follow through at new all-time highs at our Fibonacci extension targets. And I personally am invested in ETH. I personally do hold quite a bit of ETH. It's my second biggest holding after Bitcoin. And so I am emotionally and financially invested in this asset. Okay, we got another super chat in the house. First of all, got to shout out Bullish on Parade. But Kuhal Kumar says, what alt would you get into now? Would I personally get into now? If I had to, because I'm not getting into anything now. I don't buy alts when Bitcoin's at all-time highs. That's my rule. All right? I've bought all my alts that I wanted in 2022 and 2023. Now I'm just looking to sell only. But honestly, right now, based on the chart and the risk to reward, if I was looking to buy alts right now, I would be buying Cardano. I would be buying some Chainlink. I'd be buying some AVAX. Basically, all the coins where there's a good risk-to-reward ratio and they're good, obviously good, top 20 projects. All right, so when you see a coin like, for example, Cardano, where there's, you know, 7.5 times more upside than downside, and assuming an all-time high at $5, we're talking 13 times more upside than downside, and this is a conservative target for Cardano. I mean, some people call it for like $7 to $10, right? There's potentially here 30 times more upside than downside, but conservatively, you know, there's 7 times more upside than downside. So would I want to buy ETH right now, where when we're just looking at existing market structure, like forget about all-time highs, let's just talk about current highs. ETH right now, there's a 37% move until all-time highs, okay? And if we're gonna look at this as like a potential long trade here, even if we put the stop under that last low, we are talking a 1-to-1 risk reward, right? You're risking $1 to potentially make $1. Not really a good idea. But Cardano, okay, Bitcoin is getting that pump back to the upside. Cardano, you're risking $1 to make 7, at least. Right? Now, of course, I believe we're going to see newer all-time highs. But you have to be looking at the coins that still have the most upward potential. You know? That's the thing. Like, it's all about the risk to reward, and this is constantly changing as well. Like, XRP right now is a much worse buy than it was back a few weeks ago, right? Because we've gotten such a big pump now. So let's say we were shooting for our $5 XRP. You know, back then it was 11-to-1 risk reward. Right now, today, same target, it's a 1-to-1, right? So we could have risked $1 to make 12 back here in June, but now we're risking $1 to make $1.48. Not worth it. So that's how you want to look at your altcoin charts. When you look at a chart, and you have to obviously do your research on the coin to say this is something I want to buy. But like for example, right now, AVAX, okay? AVAX is at support. It's at support. We're seeing bullish divergences. We're seeing it form this kind of pattern here. Right now, the upside potential to the previous all-time high, right? We don't even make a new all-time high. 22 times more than the downside potential. In fact, even if AVAX comes down to a new all-time low, if it literally goes to zero, a 100% move to the downside, there's still 7 times more upside than downside. Like, literally buying now on AVAX, it's one of the best risk to rewards we have right now. But if we're just considering under the last low to the all-time high, 20 times more upside than downside potential here. That's how you want to look at these. You want to say what looks bottomed out at support, bullish on the oscillators, and is a good project. All right. You're looking for an altcoin to buy now. What looks bottomed out on the oscillators, is at support, and just objectively speaking is a good project that has potential in crypto, right? Now, this is when it comes to like buying things on spot. You could also look at things like Solana. All right, because even right now on Solana, like let's say we do hit a $466 SOL, you know, we're not using the bear market bottom now as our point to get in. We're using our last low because we say this low looks like a good higher low in an uptrend. In which case, you know, right now we could have a 5-to-1 risk reward if we come up, 4-to-1 risk reward if we come up to a $450 Solana, right? So you can look for these risk to rewards even in an uptrend, but you always want to make sure that the prices come down to some kind of support. Like in this instance, Solana came down to this support. It got a bounce. It made a higher low. It hasn't yet made a higher high. So we're front running that higher high. We're saying things look really good here. It looks like the trend is up. So this is a reason to enter here, and it gives us an invalidation, right? Because if we don't make a higher high and we make a higher low, we say, whoops, we were wrong about that, and we know where to get out, right? Every investment you make, you need to know where to get out. But if SOL comes up to previous all-time highs, it's a 2-to-1 risk reward. You're risking 1 to make 2. It's not the best. But I do think we're going to see SOL make new all-time highs. I really do. It's such a good project, such a good asset in general. Right now, it has time to shine. ETH, Solana, Cardano, they got their time to shine. You know, the time to shine. All right. Ondo is breaking out like a crackhead, says Vegan Coleslaw. All right, Vegan Coleslaw. Let's check out Ondo. Sorry, Vegas Claw. Vegas Claw, not Vegan Coleslaw. My bad. All right, last time we looked at Ondo, we were talking about this. All right. We were talking about this on Ondo last time. The reasoning for this was we had our support, we lost it, we came back up, we got a back test, and started to bounce. And we were saying it's not the most probable, but all things considered, it looks pretty bullish. And of course, this is, I don't know why we pulled it up this high. Let's put it on logarithmic. But right now, Ondo, first of all, the daily time frame looks absolutely bullish. All right. So look, if you've been here the past few days, man, that's why you gotta like, subscribe, click the bell, right? Right now, we're looking, that in of itself is like a 2-to-1 risk reward there, so that would be a TP1. But depending on how high this thing pumps, the only thing we could say right now, the only target we could possibly get would be like a breakout of this neckline and just do the measured move to the upside. That would put us at about a $2.13 Ondo, which from our current spot right here is going to be about 100% gains. So let's see, what's our risk to reward at our current time? It's still a 5-to-1, All right, like literally right now, 5 times more upside than downside. If we're gonna get that measured move, that 1-to-1 move here. All right. Actually, hang on. I'm sorry, I had it on logarithmic. That's not accurate. That's not accurate. Yeah, it's not as good as that. That was logarithmic. It's a 3-to-1. All right, a 3-to-1 risk reward. Right now, not the best, definitely not the worst. And if this is going to continue, I mean, the daily looks really bullish right now. So it looks like we are going to see continuation. Where would we look for a pullback on Ondo to get in? Honestly, what we would look for now is we come up to resistance and we expect a little bit of a pullback or consolidation at resistance. All right. If we see pullback or consolidation at resistance, then beautiful. We pull our fib from the low to the high, put on our 50% retracement here. So obviously, if we do something like that, we would be looking for a dip back down into this area between the 618 and the 0.5 for a bounce, right? That would be a beautiful entry. Are we guaranteed to get that? Of course not, but this is what we need to be prepared for if we are, you know, swing trading like that. Now, locally, what you can do whenever you pump and start to consolidate somewhere, what you do is you look for this. You look for the pump, and then you look for the range. And when you see the range, what you can do is you can look for long setups locally if you see a local stop hunt. All right? You see a local stop hunt in a bull flag, that is a long signal. All right? Local stop hunt in a bull flag is always a long signal, always. Doesn't mean it's going to be a winning trade, but it's always a long signal because it allows you to get in at the bottom of a range, right? The whole reason, you know, we're looking for a long, we want to buy low and sell high. So if we do come up to this area, this is low. This is where we'd look for a long. But then if we don't come down there, we can zoom in and say, okay, well, we're forming a little bit of a sideways range right here. What would be considered low locally? Coming down to this area. That makes sense, right? Just like on Bitcoin. Just like on Bitcoin yesterday. Or, I'm sorry, not yesterday, but 2 days ago, when we took the long in the Casper crew, right? When I took that long trade, it was basically, what were we looking for? We were looking to come down and take out the lows of the range, right? If you see, we had these lows here, these lows, and now these two lows right here, and we're like, okay, this is a local sideways range. We have the value area low down here. If we come down, this is objectively speaking, I mean, this is locally speaking buying low. All right, so when we came down to that area and I saw my bullish confirmations, I decided to take the trade, and then you get a good entry locally because you're coming to the low of the local range. And that's what you would look for any asset that forms a bull flag. What the heck happened to my audio here? Any asset that forms a bull flag. Oh, we pushed pause on the music. I don't know how that happened. Shout out to Cryptina. Can you look at Simon's Cat? Sure. Never heard of Simon's Cat. Sounds pumping. Sounds like it'll pump, man. You know? Oh, man. Simon's Cat. I guess I did hear of it because I was looking for this channel to continue back in December 2024. It didn't work out so good, right? We're looking for the potential bounce from this area. Let's see. Okay. Well, I would say that just locally here, we have a really, really nice looking chart. Why? Why is this a nice looking chart? Well, because we have ourselves a beautiful support resistance flip, right? Support flipped into resistance. We have ourselves our upper range. We have ourselves our lower range, okay? And we're asking ourselves, what are the chances that now we come back into fill to the top of the upper range? Well, pretty high, because right here, we have ourselves a bullish divergence, all right? We have the bullish Sam Bankman-Fried man-boo pattern. Money flow and momentum is getting higher as price is getting lower. All right, we stretch out the boobs over the chart. Resemblance is striking. Then we have a higher high, and then we make a higher low, into the 786, 886 Fibonacci. So we come to our altcoin pocket with more bullish divergence on market Cipher beat, okay? And so you could say that this is a higher low right now. And the weekly looks bullish, like it's going to continue. We've got a confirmed trigger wave. And so, look, this is, again, I'm not saying to do this, but I would say that there's a valid buy based on that nice looking bottom. And look, we do have a local sign of strength, like a local change of market structure here. So we're looking for the top of the range. That's an 11-to-1 risk reward ratio with our stop underneath that low. The low, not just the most local low, but the low, still 11-to-1 risk reward. Obviously, a major sign of strength would be flipping this back into support. So you could also look for something like this if you're looking to long with a little bit more sign of strength. This is also an 11-to-1 risk reward. So you could get in now with your stop loss under the low, 11 times more upside than downside, or you could wait for a retest, a breakout and retest, which you're not guaranteed, right? But that would still give you an 11-to-1 risk reward. Pretty much, whether you enter now or you wait for something like this, both trade setups are equally as good. All right? It's all about risk to reward ratio. Isn't that crazy? You could get in at a technically worse entry here, but you're still going to make and risk just as much as if you got in at a better entry down here. Isn't that interesting? This is what really trading's all about, guys. It's all about the risk to reward ratios and, you know, looking to buy at those places where the upside potential is more than the downside potential. And look, if you're looking for a masterclass on trading, check out the free course on my YouTube channel. The last 18 videos I've uploaded, not live streams, but videos, are this course. All right. And also, everybody make sure to like the video. We're going to count to 3. Everybody like the video. If you're on mobile, like the video. If you're on computer, like the video. All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Like the video! Thanks, guys. Can we look at Jupe? Shout out to Acto4. Yeah, let's take a look at Jupe. Oh, man. So here's what I like about Jupe, all right? We have come down to take the lows, and we've gotten a reclaim and made a higher low, okay? So I have to say, all things considered, although I wish the divergences were nicer on the daily here, objectively speaking, we took the lows of everything, and we've made a higher high and now a higher low, all right? So this is starting to look nice here. We're getting a money flow cross again on the daily. Same as Simon's cat here, I'd say. We do have a valid reason to look for something like this on Jupe, giving us a 5-to-1 risk reward. Now, the other setup we could look for would be a reclaim of our support resistance flip at 63 cents. And that then would allow us to do something like this, okay? That would allow us to get a better risk to reward because we're coming up, continuing with the bullish market structure, make that higher low, and then as soon as we get the reclaim, we enter, our stop loss goes below that area. Now, this is gonna give us a 10-to-1 risk reward for all-time highs on Jupiter, but if we pump out even higher, which I think we very well could, like, let's just take the measured move of the range here, right? We've got ourselves the range. The measured move would be this. Wait, let's take it off log scale. The measured move of the range on Jupiter would be a move up to around $3. All right, that's an 18.5-to-1 risk reward. And, you know, if we enter now with our stop loss below the low, that's still a 10-to-1, assuming that we get that 1-to-1, breakout, right? You could also say that we've got this. All right, so you can see how we're front running the big move now. But, you know, as long as risk to reward is good, I'd say when things look bullish and we're heading into the end of a bull market, it's okay sometimes to front run stuff. This is a bullish, objectively speaking, pattern here, right? It's a falling wedge. So once this does break out, it could very easily pump. So, you know, I'd say you could get in now. You could wait for the back test of the 63 cent, or, you know, for even more sign of strength, wait for a breakout of the trend line and a back test, and then look to get in there. Those would be the three options I'd say that we got with Jupe. All right, shout out to Louis. ZBCN. Does ZBCN's chart look bullish to me? ZBCN. It's like a rug. Look, the weekly does look bullish here. We had bullish divergence, big pump, change of structure. Let's see where we retrace to here. It looks like a very low liquidity asset here. I would be cautious with it, but I don't like where we're currently bouncing from. I would like to come lower at least. It's an altcoin. Let's look for the altcoin pocket. Let's look for at least this area here, this last consolidation zone, right? The support resistance flip consolidation zone between our 786, 886. That would be nice. We see some daily bullish divergences here. That would be the next area I would look for. You know, look for this to then break. But yeah, it's a tough chart. There's not clear market structure. It's a pretty tough chart. Shout out to Script. Where would I be selling XRP on spot? Yeah, definitely $4, $5, and I would let some run to see if we could hit, you know, 7 to 10. Why not? But yeah, definitely $4, $5. $5 is a big target for XRP. I would probably be waiting for $5. I'm not in XRP. All right, so I'm just telling this stuff off the fly. Thank you so much for the super chat. All right, guys, I gotta head out because there's a VIP live stream starting right now in the Casper crew, where they will be going over the low time frame entries, just like the ones we take every single day in there, the ones we've been doing all week, man, like this. All right, like this one. All right, so make sure to go check it out. May God bless you all in Jesus' name, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.